know, it's a wonderful thing about Baltimore, and probably wouldn't happen to me in any other city, but I was walking on Mount Royal Avenue the other day, and someone came up alongside me. He goes, "Hey, you're that one who writes about the chicken nook, right?" And where in the world would a poet be? I mean, maybe you could get arrested for poetry in other countries. But the chicken nook is a place that I've wandered around a million times. There's a photograph of this street corner in the book. And I told him, I said, "I'll be reading this poem for you on Sunday." So this is for Dylan. Reliable as weather, the corner glitters with grit, while citizens wait for the bus and pick lake trout from their teeth. A man with Ziplocs meets a woman and her kid. She gets her stash. This pocket, a stillness. Those who lean under the orange sign, chicken nook, the throbbing glow of it. It's a beautiful street corner. The signage is different. See, someone else knows the chicken nook. It's a landmark. I startled a peregrine falcon while walking near the station. First winter days, the pewter sky, a vacant lot with leafless trees, gray limbs. The bird that flew from there with something in its claws, dangling and also gray. The city shudders in the difficult wind. A train rumbles through the tunnel. The bird was quiet, and I was. The rat or the pigeon tucked snug against its belly. Glad for the peregrine, glad for the city. Poor rat, poor pigeon. A train in the station and all the travelers on their way. In love, because this city won't let up, no matter how much rocking. In love with this city, as if a surprise walked through the door wearing suspenders and red striped pants. In love with the intersection and its ingenious abutment of asphalt and grit, where chicory roots in their joining and age-old rainwater bubbles in the gutter bobbing toward the harbor and the sea. In love with the difficult stories, because they are not mine, because they are mine. The just after dawn light like Caravaggio's on the row house bricks. On that day, a sea wind grazed the graveyard hill. What was left of Isabel tracked north toward Canada, and I sat still above East Baltimore with my back against the stones, against the clouds. There's something strong about the oldest markers off kilter, pushed up and over, and unfazed by the earth's sure moving. Across town, south and west, but also on a hill looking eastward toward the bay, Mount Auburn's stones are tended by the neighbors when they have some time. The sign marker calls it City of the Dead for colored people. Since 1868, after their land-rooted sweat, the only place in town where the freed slaves rest. The winds blow from that direction. I'm sure the storm swept through there first, reminding me there is no end to the battering, nor north or south, no difference between east and west. There were people down in the depths, and they didn't know they were people. One of them broke a taboo that nobody knew was taboo, and the floodwaters rushed in. They had to get out. They used a rope that they drew through from below, through a hole above, and into the city of the world. When they climbed out, they were in another world. Someone in power insulted the sun and the moon, so everyone was in the dark. The priests said, oh, we can get it back. So they swallowed the plants and the trees, but everyone was still in the dark. Then the animals were allowed to try. They made a circle and danced some more and danced until a hill started to grow out of which all the others came. And everyone was surprised to see those others who looked like them, but were not them. It can be solved by walking or take a bike. Something slower than driving, something less contained especially, something that permits a breeze or a squirrel to enter, a rat to rattle you. That sort of surprise, the kind that's overruled by the speed and strength that is the armor of the world. Unplug your ears, the honks and screeches rolling like Mozart. Unbuckle the distaste for poverty and grit. This world is either a beautiful iceberg or a mountaintop thrown from its source to a faraway sea, and the gods who aren't believed in anymore are out there hiding behind the windows and under the stoops. One of them struts the sidewalk with his two-colored hat. One side sees red, the other side green. He passes again with his hat flipped around just for fun. Everyone goes to court. It's a kind of togetherness, all of us arguing and shining like the sun. This is one of the last poems in the book.